Hi guys, welcome back to iN2IT Oracle. I am Debbie Dubois,
And I'm Kimberly Aria.
and we are going to go over the Astro Persona today. So we know that the Astro Persona is a very powerful deck, but it can be used in two ways. It can be used with Oracle readings and also with astrology readings, and a combination of the two. But in the first video series that we're doing, we're actually going to go over how to use the Astro Persona in a regular, everyday Oracle reading.
Chosen, I've been waiting here for you since the beginning of this universe. You know the world is fading. There's a secret power hidden in your soul. Don't be afraid to use it, 'cause you're the one. You're the one. You're the one.
Before we get started, I want to make everyone aware, if you are not aware, we are going to Kickstarter with 3 new decks. And we're very excited about these 3 decks. It's called the Soul Expansion Trio. This Kickstarter launches on May 14th. It's a Tuesday. You will want to go to the link below and follow our campaign, and we hope you'll back us. It's a really great project. First of all, we have the focus deck, which gives you life areas of focus to focus your readings on. We also have the healing deck, and the healing deck is about different areas of your life that you might want to focus on healing, and you can pull a combination of focus and healing. And then finally, the Empower deck. And the Empower deck is all about statements of empowerment from your higher self. And so it's a great way to integrate that information into your readings. And then you can use these 3 decks with your favorite decks, iN2IT or not. And it gives you all kinds of, it gives you unlimited possibilities for readings. And so we wanted to develop something that supports all of you as you learn how to contact your own inner guidance. And yeah, so anyways, we really think you're gonna love this. It's the Soul Expansion Trio on Kickstarter. Go check out the link below. And now we're gonna go over the Astro Persona, right, Kimberly?
Yeah, we're so excited. We have such exciting new products that are coming out right now, with the Astro Persona just having been released within the last month or so, become available.
Yeah.
And with this new one coming, it should be in our store by, we would say, by December at least, maybe sooner. So,
Yeah.
uh, but this deck, oh my goodness, the Astro Persona, I am so excited to share it with you guys, and especially because we've had a lot of requests of people saying, I don't know what to do. How do I use this deck? So we're just going to dive right into kind of the most simple, straightforward, easiest way. I guarantee you that you don't have to be an astrologer to use this deck. So let's just get
Right.
that off the table right now
Yes, yes.
for the first way we're going to show you. Now, of course, if you want to get deeper into astrology, you'll want to tune in for our next series about that.
Right. So what I am going to do is I'm going to share my desktop because we're actually going to bring in the deck itself. First of all, to answer questions that some people have had, when you get your deck, you can see there's some space in here, right? And people have said, "Oh, there's too much space in the box," and it's bothered some people. But we want to show you why we did that. In our expansion kit, if you are using it for astrology, we have tabs. So the tabs will keep you separated will keep them separated into planetary, right? Planetary bodies, isn't that it,
Suits,
Kimberly?
yeah.
Yeah,
Hmm.
into suits.
Yep.
And that way, if you're using it for readings to pull someone's chart, you're going to be able to pull out the section instead of having to go through your whole deck looking for the right cards. We suggest that if you are using it for readings and you're also going to be using it for astrology readings, that you're going to want to get 2 decks. So you're going to want to have one. I mean, I already am so glad that I do, because now I don't have to worry. When I pull out my deck, I can shuffle it. I don't have to worry about how am I going to find this card or that card. I've got a second set. So that's just something
And I
for
just
you to
want to
know about.
mention
Yeah,
also the other reason. The other reason we have space in the box is for the bonus cards that come with the dividers, so that it brings
right.
in all of the North and South node cards, and they'll fit in there as well. So that's why we put the extra space. We kind of went back and forth on it because we're like, We didn't include the dividers and the bonus cards because they really go more with when you're going into in-depth astrology readings.
Right.
But we knew that people would want to use it for both purposes, and we couldn't provide two different sizes of boxes. We needed a box that was big enough for people to add those cards in. Because even if you just buy the deck right now and later on you want to get the bonus kit or just buy the bonus cards, which is going to be an option, which is, I believe, an option in our store as well, you can do that too. You don't have to get the whole kit to get the bonus cards. So that way you've got those. So if you are not wanting your cards to kind of have that extra space, get the bonus card and tab set. So
Yep. So I guess the first thing that I wanted to ask you, Kimberly, and you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and go back to full screen here just so that we can talk a little bit. Tell us a little bit about how you came up with this deck idea, because I think it's a really, I don't know, I think it's a really interesting and powerful story because there's nothing like this deck out there.
yes, this was something that was absolutely given to me in kind of a meditation type of setting. I had actually been doing a meditation on healing on my own body because my back was bothering me. And I fell asleep during the meditation. And while I was asleep, I just got this clear, like just boom, there it was, the idea for this deck, the concept for the deck. And I woke up and I started writing it out. And in fact, I even got my computer out and did a first kind of like few mock-up cards of just this concept because it all came in so clearly in my mind. And what it was that there would be a set of cards where I used the planets from astrology as the suits, including the sun and the moon. So sun, moon, rising, and then Mercury through Pluto.
Mm-hmm.
And then within those suits, you go through all of the signs of the zodiac. And it gives like this amazing tool for and right away I was like, this is a personality deck. It gives you
Yes.
132 cards of people. And
It's
it's just
crazy.
my first thought was like, I know it can be used in astrology readings, but primarily I just saw it being used in the way that we're going to show you right now, which is extremely simple and straightforward and wildly accurate. Debbie,
I
you and
know.
I did kind of some tests. We were like over an hour on the phone, like coming up with different people that we were reading cards for and then seeing how it matched up and like my kids, your kids, other friends of ours. And when you're randomly pulling cards from the deck, it's not that we're saying, oh, you're going to end up pulling exactly their astrology chart. That's not what happened. Although there was often a few that were actually that person's sign, but that you see this accurate kind of portrayal of a person because you guys know astrology is weirdly accurate. And on the other hand, there's always like this, like pick and choose. And then there's themes that even cross over different planets. For example, I'm a Pisces moon, but Pisces sun characteristics would be similar, because Pisces is similar, right? So whenever you see some of these different cards, you're going to just find information that's going to help you get a better understanding of a particular person in a reading. It's going to be really powerful for those of you who do readings for clients, like who are just calling in now, and also just for yourself. But if you have a client who's calling in for a reading and you don't know who much about them, you don't know much about the person they're asking about, and you pull cards like this, it is going to give you so much information that you're going to use your inner knowing to tune into where you're, truly using your psychic or your gifts to pull that out of, you know, the connection that we all have. So anyway, that's I guess a little bit about how it came about and
Yeah.
a little bit about the structure of the deck.
Well, I love it. And Kimberly is right. When we sat down and we pulled cards on, like, our kids or it's well, this is how all of our decks work actually. And that is
Hmm.
when you see keywords, you know a lot more about things than you realize. We have these innate abilities to contact what I consider like the source field, the field of consciousness. And so when you see certain words, when you really learn to tune in, words pop off the card at you. And it's like, oh yeah, that applies, this applies, this applies. And you kind of discard the words that don't. So when you're reading any kind of cards like our cards, just always know that the information that pops off at you in the card is going to be what you know about the situation. And that's not always something, I mean, psychically, some people are more developed psychically than others, and they might be able to read more of the consciousness field. But the key that we like to do is to help you get in touch with your own inner knowing about your own circumstances, because nobody knows your situations better than you do. And the Astro Persona, it really brings the people element into the readings. It gives you, but it's not limited just to people, because a lot of the words are characteristic of situational stuff as well.
Right.
So that's how you can kind of work it in. So Kimberly, we had talked about 3 different ways to get acquainted with your deck. And I would say the first thing to do when you get your Astro Persona, and you may have had it for a little while, if you haven't done this is a really good thing to do, is get yourself acquainted with the deck by pulling cards for someone you know really well and seeing how much it matches. We did that quite a bit. Pulling someone's chart for someone you know, and then literally pulling those cards out so you can see, oh wow, this is a personality profile of this person. That gives you a good sense of how accurate the cards are. It helps you build your relationship with it. And then the third, and this was my favorite, pull cards for someone that is in your life, but you don't know all that well. Like, you know some things, like you get the sense about this person. Like, they're interesting to you, they're intriguing to you, but you don't know a whole heck of a lot about them. When you start pulling cards, you're gonna be so surprised at how words will jump off, and you're like, yes, that's that person. They're shy, they're polite, they're, it really helps you get to know that your intuition is pretty accurate. That's what that's what our whole goal is at iN2IT, is to help you intuit your own knowing. So, all right. So are you ready to maybe try this deck out, Kimberly, and do one of these?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. What did we want to do here? I'm going to first of all switch back over to the tabletop. So I've got the decks.
we picked someone that Debbie and I both know quite well.
Yeah.
And we're going to call him Andy for the sake of the video here. It's not his real name. And we just thought we would pull some cards and kind of do a reading like you would. Let's say you're going to do a reading, either for yourself or for a client. And we're going to just show you how you might, use the Astro Persona in a reading of that style. So our subject is Andy, and we're going to do the cards over there.
Shuffling some cards, and we'll pull 5. I guess 5 is a good number.
Okay.
And so what we're looking for is characteristics about Andy, things that we know about Andy or things that we need to know about Andy. There comes one that is, Liberator of Society. That's kind of interesting. That's the first one that came out. That's Saturn in the 11th house of Aquarius. But in a general reading, those things are not as important as they get to be later on. Everyone gets hung up on symbols. All right, I did get 2 cards. I got Jupiter in the 12th house of Pisces, which is supreme optimism. Feeling limited in self-expression. Saturn in the 1st house of Aries. All right, hang on a minute. Now, Kimberly, I don't know. Do you need to pull some of those cards in front of you? Or do you want...
Maybe I could try to find them on my own here.
Right.
I think the deck I have in front of me is already shuffled to be too hard.
Okay.
So I should have pulled out a deck with tabs, but I don't have one in front of me here.
That's
so
all right.
It's fine.
All right. So let me tell you which
cards
cards
I can't, just so you guys know, I can't see her tabletop.
Right,
So
right.
you guys can see it, but I can't.
Okay, so in order for us to be able to go over these cards together, I stopped everything and I sent Kimberly a snapshot of the cards so that she could take a look at it, so that we could go over these cards together with you guys. So how do you want to do this, Kimberly? Do you want to just go in order?
Yeah, let's do that. So we're going to kind of be taking a look at this as maybe a first step in a reading that you might do with somebody to kind of establish, what does this person need to know about the subject. So the subject of the reading is this Andy, And let's just for the sake of the model here, let's say that I'm the one coming to you for a reading. And I'm like, okay, so, this is somebody maybe that I'm romantically interested in, and I need to understand them better. So this is how we started here.
Right.
This is kind of a common scenario with the reading.
Right.
All right. So, now whether you're the reader or whether, you're reading for the other person, now we're going to kind of both step out of that role and just kind of go through it the way I would maybe if I was a reader.
Okay.
So let's take the first card here, Liberator of Society. And one thing that really jumps out at me is the first phrase, against the grain, because I know Andy very well, and he's very much against. He questions
Yes.
authority. He has very much about long-term goals, a trendsetter. But it is interesting too that sometimes he does have a hard time loosening up around others unless maybe there's a little bit of alcohol involved. Maybe sometimes, I don't know though. Actually, most of the time I think he does pretty well with that. So
Yeah.
so now one of the things I really find with this deck is these little sayings at the bottom, which usually is kind of like a piece of advice. Sometimes it's just more of a statement, but you can pull advice out of it. But here it just talks about, says, seeing things differently and being unattached to being normal helps you bravely share ideas that send ripples through society, enacting positive change. And that's one thing I've seen with Andy here. He's actually somebody I know here in this town that I live in. It's a very small town. And I've seen him in the very short time. He's only lived here about 3 years. And in that time, he has just become like everybody in town knows him and respects him
That's right.
and his ideas. And he's just doing things like, stepping in and helping, volunteering or whatever, and doing things in the community. So,
Right.
so far, this is to me a very good card for a profile for him.
Right.
Now looking at the Jupiter in the 12th house, supreme optimism. He is an optimist for sure.
Mhm.
He's also very generous and self-sacrificing
Oh,
and
yes.
confident.
Oh, yes. He's such
Although
a
his confidence is like he presents very confident, but sometimes it's not, doesn't go, it isn't deeper. He has sometimes, because I know him quite well, that's, that would be but that's pretty common with people, right? They can come across being really confident and then sometimes be still struggling with not feeling confident.
right.
He's a very hard worker.
He is relaxed. He's very relaxed. He
Yeah.
just,
Yeah.
it may be under the surface he might not be quite as relaxed, but he presents as very relaxed, doesn't he?
Yeah.
He's always got
absolutely.
everything under control, it feels to me.
Yep. And here the little piece of advice might be more like, it would be more appropriate probably if you were reading for someone and if it's about them, because it's, saying what to do. Obviously, we can't tell him what to do. He's not here for the reading, but it does say that, it might take sacrifice to make your dreams come true. And the also advice to connect to source. So now let's take a look at the next one, feeling limited in self-expression. And this is interesting because, oh my goodness, I know that in his past, he has struggled with setting personal boundaries. And I mean, not very many of us haven't struggled with that, right?
Right.
And I think maybe some overcompensation has taken place and definitely feeling inadequate at times. And, so those are some interesting things that I think are right on point as well.
Mhm.
Okay, let's go on to the next card, Endless Curiosity. And one thing that really jumps out at me is spontaneous. He's very spontaneous. It's one thing I really love about him is I like people who will just at the drop of the hat do something. So that's quite accurate. Mischievous, communicative, adaptive. Those are, a lot of very accurate little pieces of characteristics in my mind toward him.
I would say
And
he's not disrespectful though. But this is where reading
No.
these cards, this is why it's so important when you realize your inner knowing, you really do, especially if you know someone well, you're going to know what cards don't pertain to them. What words don't pertain
Absolutely.
to them. Yeah. So you can kind
And
of
then
overlook
also, if you're reading somebody blind, you trust your intuition. In fact, in some ways, like there isn't there like kind of almost an energy rush that comes in and you just feel it and you just start popping off. You just know, like
Yeah.
it just comes to you and then that person sitting on the other side of your table, or even if it's reading for yourself, you can just trust that.
it.
So, and if you don't feel that come through, that's fine too. Just kind of whatever first jumps off the cards at you if
Right.
you're reading blind. So, Right.
Yep.
All right, so let's take a look at the last one here. The Pluto functions logically. Yes, he's very logical. And one other thing he also told me, which he has a Virgo rising, and of course, Virgo rising are very analytical. And this is not something you would see because it all happens underneath. He's not saying this out loud, but he says before he ever makes any decision or does anything, he's already thought it through from every single possible angle. And so that, that mastermind and solving things and
He
definitely
knows
about
things.
accumulating knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, very notice things. And so, and he definitely, a chatterbox, yep, he can be that way. And then about knowing things, literally anything that, like about information or history about our little town that we live in, he knows almost everything. He's
It's
told me so
true.
many stories. He's gotten very involved in the community and then hears stories from all the people who've lived here for a long time. And so,
Right.
and he's very knowledgeable about a lot of things. So I would just say right off the top, this is giving us a lot of information. So if you're reading for someone and you want to just really get some good pointers, you also could even, I can see doing a reading where someone's like, have a question about maybe someone they haven't met yet. Like, when will I have a new love coming in and what will he or she be like? And you can,
Right.
shuffle and pull cards. And you might even get some actual cards that even look like the person. We have so many different varieties of people. Like the Saturn in 11th house person is actually an albino. And I chose her for this picture because she's, unusual. I was like trying to find something that really looked different, like an
Aquarius.
avant-garde kind
Yeah.
of person.
Right.
And I was like, oh, she's perfect. So we have, all kinds of looks and nationalities and things too. So that'll be kind of fun for pulling cards and just kind of seeing, even what
Who's
people might
coming
look
in?
like.
Right.
Hmm.
So understand, like, I want to ask you from the questions, you have his chart, right? And these are not from his chart. Is that correct?
I can't look at his chart because it's on my phone.
All right.
Off the top of my head, I don't see any that I know are particularly his, but I mean, it might be.
But
I'm
this
not
is
sure.
what we
And
wanted
another
to
thing is
emphasize.
houses. Like I'd have to look at every single placement, not just the primary placement, but
Right.
like his Mercury might, for example, be in Sagittarius, but it might be his first house. And so you have to look at both of those to see, if
Right.
any of them are actual matches.
But my overall point is that you don't have to know someone's chart in order to pull cards that will tell you about them. Because the thing
Hmm.
is we are an amalgamation of all of the sun signs. We each have little tiny pieces here and there, and there's overlap. There's
Yeah.
overlap in terms of different characteristics. So, I that's what I found really fascinating about this deck is I thought, well, geez, how is this going to really work? Because this person doesn't have any Pluto or this doesn't have any Sagittarius in their charts or whatever. There's still characteristics that you'll find on these cards that pertain to them. And we did many different people close to us that we know very well. And we before this we you saw us pull these cards, right? So it's not like we just pulled cards and said, oh, this is going to be Andy's chart. You know what I mean? It's these came popping out. This is how we tested this deck. This is how we got to know our decks. And we highly recommend doing an exercise like this to build your confidence. Because really, what these cards are and what all of our cards are, they're designed to be reflective of your inner knowing. So, in an
Yeah.
essence, is your confidence in your cards and your familiarity with your deck, and you're infusing your energy with the deck. This is you manifesting your own knowing in physical form. That's really what this is.
Absolutely.
And that's what we set out to do with all of the decks that we've created, from the Astro Persona to the the Zodiac 108 to the Intuit Oracle to the Twin Flame. And we did it with all of them. So yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
So
So
what I would do next, maybe in this reading, is I would, grab one of my other favorite decks and
all
pull some
right.
more cards.
What do you want
But
to
Debbie,
ask? Okay.
I actually feel like I would rather just jump off script a little bit.
Okay.
And instead of continuing on with this person, let's kind of model what you might do if you were doing an absolute blind reading for
Okay.
someone.
All right. So we'll
And
clear
let's maybe
these.
do it yeah, let's
All
clear
right.
these off. And
Yep.
here's what I just had in my mind.
Sure.
So let's just pretend that I'm a new client. I'm
Okay.
coming in and I'm like, I don't have a love interest in my life at all. And
All
I can't
right.
even imagine who it might be that's coming in for me.
Right.
But I just want to see uh, you know, if there is somebody coming in, what might be some characteristics that they might have or that I should be looking for, in a person, the potential, because
Mm-hmm.
I meet these different people every now and then and I'm not really sure. So let's do a reading for me
Okay.
from spirit or from my higher self.
Right.
What might be a person coming in? And I thought maybe we just pull 3 cards to try to maintain a good focus
Sure.
and then go from there and pull some other cards from another deck because this
Let's do
might be
it.
another way to do a reading.
Okay, so we're going to go ahead and we're going to pull 3 cards for Kimberly. All right, who's coming in? Let's just look at who is coming in. Okay, there goes one. Energetic sensitivity is the first card. That is Saturn in the 12th house of Pisces. And let's see what else we got. Okay, we got unsure of personal identity. Uh-oh. That is Neptune in the first house of Aries. I am. And let's find that third card. And then I will shoot you a quick... Oh, there, that one came out really good. Oh, we got stamina.
And
We got
what card is it?
Taurus rising.
Okay.
All right. Okay, so we got 3 different cards here. Let's take a look at the first one. The first one is energetic sensitivity. So this person, Kimberly, that's coming in for you is very empathetic. So they feel the emotions of other people. Highly permeable energetic boundaries kind of means that they don't have very tight energetic boundaries. They feel what other people are feeling. They frequently feel guilty. They might be a little bit self-sacrificing. So this person is someone who, let me see here. Empathy makes it hard to tell whether emotions are yours or not. Okay, so this person might take your personality a little bit, like they might be very sensitive to your personality. You've got a pretty strong personality, you're pretty direct. And so they might pick up some of the energetic sensitivities that you have, that they're feeling, you know what I'm saying? A little bit maybe raw and vulnerable.
Right.
And this person is also unsure of their personal identity. So, so this person, hang on a second. Yeah, poor
Well, it's
boundaries.
interesting as I see that, yeah, both of these cards do talk about not having the best of boundaries because of their, maybe sensitivity.
Right.
But I would just even say this for me, if I'm thinking this might be the person coming in,
Right.
I'm not very attracted to somebody who's not sure of their personal identity. So that would be
Yes.
an interesting challenge for me. And so, we might even see, when we dig deeper, we might be like, okay, this is someone who's coming toward me, but then we could even ask questions about, is this really somebody who I would be interested in or not?
Right.
And
Or
what
ask
might be
might be attracting you. What is it that's attractive about this person to you? We've got stamina
on
here.
the other side of, right. Now, the other side of this is very attractive to me. I'm a Scorpio. So anybody, strong Taurus energy is always going to be very attractive to me, a very good match. So somebody
Okay.
who has this tremendous staying power, passionate. I don't know about possessive. I mean, I don't care for somebody who's possessive, but again, not everything has to be a perfect match. We'll take some things and leave others.
Right.
Practical, devoted, likes find things in life.
Right.
Fixated, believes, and slow to react is it's kind of nice to be around someone who's not super reactive.
Right. So what we've
So
got
I think there's some
here.
things here I would like. Yeah.
Right. So what we've got here is a likelihood. This is what I would say as a reader. Knowing Kimberly like I do, I would probably say that there's something about this person, like his Taurus rising, that attracts, makes him attractive to you. And then these are the things to be aware of, that this person has some boundary issues. So your being aware of that is going to make a big difference in whether you decide to move forward in that relationship, or it gives you the knowledge you need to make adjustments, like to make sure that they know that you want them to have boundaries, and you might be the one to come in and teach them about boundaries. So that's what I would say. Now, did you want to pull cards? What questions would you have around this person? And we can use one of the decks to
Absolutely. So at this point, when you're doing a reading with someone, they might very often, they'll be like, yeah, I know exactly who this is. This is somebody who I've, been recently getting to know. Or they might say, don't know with them at all. But let's just go with the scenario of, let's say this is somebody that I think I do know who this is talking about. And I do have some questions. So let's go ahead and get, get some more insight, because I think this is, I'm thinking of a person in my life who this is actually a pretty good match to.
Okay.
And while there's some things like on the left and the right, these cards that I really do like about them, I know that they kind of struggle sometimes with this unsure personal identity. So let's just take a look at what would my higher self want me to know about, maybe if taking, steps further into connection with this person, getting to know them better. What kinds of advice could I have in dealing with this part here? Because this has been a little bit of a concern for me.
Now, which deck would you like me to use on this? Just based on
iN2IT Oracle.
Okay, well, that's the one I just happen to have in my hand. I figured you might say that, but all right. So, what's your question specifically?
But I want to say really quickly here, you guys, that you could use any other decks, or whether you're really into tarot. Our tarot decks are amazing. The Zodiac 108 would be fantastic. Even right now, the Twin Flame Oracle, which, gives some kind of more advice about, relationships. But our iN2IT Oracle is really our favorite deck for relationship. I mean, it's good for many things, but especially for relationship-oriented questions.
Yeah,
so
I agree.
That's why we're reaching for it in this case. I guess I would say, I think I know who this person is in my life. And for the most part, everything about him is amazing. But sometimes I'm feeling a little, I have some questions about whether this aspect of him not being super strong and sure about his identity is going to be a good match for me. So is there any advice for me around this middle card in moving forward in getting to know them more?
Okay, so that's what we're going to ask. Is there any advice that we can get for Kimberly? There's the first one. So the first thing that came up is the tree. All right, so we've got the tree. And it's, it's interesting because the tree, what comes to me is past lives. So somehow you probably have a connection with this person from a past life, a connection to source. So again, it shows that there's some deep bonds there. And also there's a grounded and personal growth. So there's personal growth on this card. So more than likely you come together in any shape or form for personal growth. And then it's interesting because the waning crescent comes up, and that gives me the no, let it be. In other words, is there advice? What I would say is that not no, there's no advice, but self-reflect, go within. You have answers to this, Kimberly, in terms of who this person is to you. And if you dive in maybe a little bit into some past lives, it would give you some more information. In other words, this particular question you're asking is actually requesting you to go into your own inner knowing. Oh, and this is great. I also got the clock, which is perfect timing. Stands the test of time. There again, past, present, and future. So this person is probably coming back from another period in your time in existence, and it's all right. The word culmination pops out at me, which means the culmination. You're probably coming back for final, the final culmination or the final settling of whatever it is that needs to be settled. All right, I got the mask, and so the mask is.
Oh, it's interesting. Look at that. We already have the mask in this card in the middle.
Oh, right. Oh my gosh. So This person
Right?
actually is. Now, tell me what you think the mask is in terms of unsure of personal identity. I mean, here we go. Double whammy on that. See that
Well,
you
here's what
guys.
I'm feeling.
Yeah.
I just looking at, and this is just getting my intuition from the picture too. But I'm feeling like this person, it's not that they just have no idea who they are, but they're kind of like trying on another aspect of themselves or like takes on the identity of
Yes,
others.
that's
That's
right
even
there.
somebody
Yep.
like that doesn't have to be a negative thing. It means just that they know how to like connect with and relate to other people by they could like be in that person's shoes
Right.
and for the person I'm thinking about, it's more along those lines. And I guess I wouldn't think that it's so much that he doesn't know who he
Mm-hmm.
is that perhaps, there's like, I guess more of it kind of more connects with the energetic sensitivity, like not having the energetic boundaries and like letting the bleed through of other people's energy is, affecting sometimes like getting super focused on who he is himself because he sometimes doesn't know how to filter out like is this me or is this someone else
Right.
that's affecting. So I think those two kind of work together.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm just kind of thinking that the mask that you're seeing there, because the mask is like covering something up, and yet like who of us doesn't kind of in some
Put
ways,
on a show.
wear masks,
Right.
right?
Wear a mask or put
And
on a persona.
so
Persona.
So maybe sometimes when I'm unsure, about this person, it's like because they're projecting, they're taking on other energies besides their own that's coming out, and then maybe that's not necessarily who they really are all the time. It's like
Mm-hmm.
someone else's energy coming through because they're kind
Right.
of trying on the mask of different people,
Mm-hmm.
and then just understanding that about a person can make it better. Like, and I don't even want to make this about you, Debbie, but you and I both know that you have this gift of being able to really step into other people's shoes and taking on their
It's
energies.
called the Open G Center in human design.
Yeah.
And so, human design, that is part of the template where I can empathize and stand in someone else's shoes. So, I take on the persona of others. Yes. Yep.
And so maybe just understanding that this person has a gift, because actually, if I think of it this way, that actually makes more sense to me that this is something that they have a gift for. So, maybe it isn't even just a negative thing. It's just like understanding this about them.
Perspective is
Yeah.
everything.
And then the past lives and the evolving and the growing, it's like this is all part of so then for me as a, thinking about this person for, whether I would want to get into a deeper relationship with them or not, the fact that the tree came up shows like there is a reason that they're in my life and that there's some
Right.
connection here and that there's some type of a past life. And then we also have that with the stamina, the staying power. Like for me in
Mm-hmm.
my life, this person may have some serious staying power because there's a reason that they're in my life. So maybe that even kind of makes me want to ask, like, is there a reason? Let's like dive further
All right.
into why is this person coming into my life? Because I think I understand this unsure of personal identity better now.
All right.
So
So,
I
do
guess
you
I would
want me
like to more
to?
know why they're in my life.
All right. I pulled 4 cards. Do you want me to just pull one
Okay.
card for why are they in your life? I mean, you ready to ask it, or did you want?
No,
Wait,
yeah, go ahead. Let's go to the next
to the
question.
next
Yeah. Why are
question.
they in my life?
All right. Hang on a
What do I need
second.
to know about why they're in my life?
All right, let me just make space on the table here. All right, so why is this person in Kimberly's life? Why did this person come into Kimberly's life? And we see the woman, which means, yes, we're talking about Kimberly. And love interest comes up. Hang on a second. Okay, we got the dog, supportive friend.
Mm,
Friendship turns to love. Faithful companion, helpful, a friendship. All right, so we got the dog, so it's a supportive friend. So this person is a supportive friend. What else have we got? We got the rings. So we have contract here. We have contract, circular, a promise, a bond, and closure comes up. So it could be that this person is coming in for closure because they've come, in your past lives and stuff like that. It's possible.
mhm.
It's possible it's closure. Let's just pull a couple more cards here. I typically like to pull 3 to 5 if I'm working with the iN2IT. Oh my goodness. Okay, I got three cards flew out. Developing over time, the wine. We got the Sun card. And again, this, I'm just going to say it. This is fulfilled, right? Fulfilled, victory. In other words, it might take some time for this to evolve. Oh, wow. Okay, so the final card that flew out was the Child as well, which is all about brand new. So what I'm seeing here, you asked, why is this person come in? And I would say the person's come in for alchemy and transformation. That's the wine. Alchemy and transformation into a yes energy, a successful experience rather than an unsuccessful experience in the past, which opens you up for new beginnings, new perspectives on the situation. And this was an agreement you made with this person to come in to get some kind of closure to this contract. They're a very, very big, I would say that supporting friend, that dog, the supporting friend is really a team member from back home. Okay guys, we're going to go ahead and wrap it up there, and we are going to go ahead and do a part 2 where we will do at least one more reading to show you how to use the Astro Persona in your Oracle and Tarot card reading. So we'll see you over there. Bye. Introducing the iN2IT Soul Expansion Trio, 3 new Oracle decks designed to take your readings to the next level by giving you unlimited reading topics to explore and more. Meet the Focus Oracle, the Healing Oracle, and the Empower Oracle. Brought to you by the creators of extraordinary and best-selling decks like the iN2IT Oracle, the Zodiac 108, the iN2IT Tarot, iN2IT's Twin Flame Oracle, Angel Oracle, and Astro Persona, the new Soul Expansion Trio is the perfect complement to all your other favorite tarot and oracle cards. Our iN2IT Focus Oracle was created to help you decide which areas of life or purpose to focus on in any of your readings. Pick one or several cards from Focus and then use any of your favorite decks to get detailed information using your innate, heart-based intuition. Our iN2IT Healing Oracle was designed to suggest areas of life that you might need healing. Shuffle the cards to see what comes up, or manually choose cards that resonate with you. Again, use your favorite Oracle or Tarot decks to dig deeper. The iN2IT Empower Oracle is different than the Focus or Healing. Empower was created to help you gain higher perspectives on any given situation as it delivers empowering messages from your higher self. Pull cards during your reading or whenever you feel like it. This deck will help you create a better reality. Each powerful Oracle deck in the Soul Expansion Trio contains 52 cards of the same high-quality cardstock you've come to know and love with other iN2IT Oracle decks like the iN2IT Oracle and Zodiac 108. And they are the perfect complement to any divination decks, including your favorite iN2IT decks. These decks are sold separately or together, so whether you choose to collect them over time or purchase them as a set, you will find them an indispensable part of your reading. And your readings are now only limited by the time you wish to spend. Accessing your inner being is both powerful and transformational. The iN2IT Soul Expansion Trio and all of our other decks were created for just that reason. We simply know that you're going to want to add this new divination tool to your collection. Help make the iN2IT Soul Expansion Trio a reality by backing this Kickstarter project today.